What's up? I'm back. As the title says, I'm using a photo to make a background for my comic, Paranormal Plague. So basically, I took the photo of this like police station area near me, and I decided, why don't I just frickin' convert this thing into an establishing shot. My comic is set in the real ass world, and it's set in Texas. So, wouldn't you know it, I live in Texas, and I live in the real ass world. So, I was like, why don't I try this thing where people take photos and then use those photos? Basically, you just trace directly over them. I think this kind of only works in comics where it is set in realistic environments, obviously, because you can't do this if it would be really stupid if you did this and it's like set in medieval Europe or something. But for the case of my comic, it works. And since I was already printing out the background, I figured I would just sketch everything else in, and then I would just ink it all with like this blue line, because when you put stuff in blue line, you can use a filter, like when you convert the lines back, like when you scan it in. So I can get rid of the blue lines later. So as long as it's in this cyan color, it won't be seen when I scan it in. Well, it'll be seen, but I'll get rid of it, so it's fine. So yeah. And it's going to be in like a police station area, so it's like kind of a boring office-y setup on the inside. So I decided to use like Clip Studio assets for the chairs and stuff. It's like a really boring room, so again, it's just something that I like having those like Clip Studio assets to know like what the hell is even going on. Plus I have a lot of characters in this shot. Saffron! You hearing my cat? He's being a real ass. I don't know why he's doing that, but whatever. But yeah, I've seen this done in like a bunch of manga, but I don't really see it done in like... What the hell is going on? What? Shut up! I'm recording a video! What the hell? My god. Sorry, my cat is just being a dick. Yeah, so I see it done in a lot of manga, but I don't really see it done in American comics that much. And if it is done, maybe I just don't notice it. I think I've seen a few Spider-Man comics where they use backgrounds that are just photos. But those are like way older comics. I guess most people have switched to using like just Clip Studio assets or 3D models or things like that if they need a background and they don't want to draw it. For me, it's kind of like, it's not that I couldn't draw it, it's just that like if I have a real world example of the exact building I kind of want, I don't really see a point in it. If I could just drive to that location, take a photo, leave, it just saves me more time, especially when I live close to stuff like this. I don't know. But yeah, when I do backgrounds, like, I like to use different kind of pens than like a ballpoint pen, because actually you want the lines to be more defined and like line looking. Because the thing with ballpoint pen is it looks sort of pencil-y. It has a lot more line variation. So I use stuff with line variation for like shading and stuff. Saffron, if you don't shut your gob, shut your fucking gob, bro. Shut up. What is your issue? I'm trying to record. Quit. I don't know how much of this audio is going to be usable. Maybe I won't even edit out the cat cries. I don't know. He wants to go outside because he's an asshole and he likes to basically break out outside. And then he'll just sit in the driveway. But, yeah, I've been trying to get him to stop going outside because he gets fleas, and it's also dangerous because cats shouldn't be outside. But it's one of those things where he's a real asshole about it, so he makes it very hard for me to, like, let him out. Anyways, super professional YouTuber. So YouTuber profesh. But yeah, I use a variety of, like, pens and stuff. That's what I was trying to say. But mostly for character stuff, I always use just ballpoint pen now. Because it has that line variation. But for backgrounds, when I want just like a straight line, I really don't want line variation. So I just use like microns or whatever. I bought these new pens. They're kind of like a rollerball pen. They're not in the mail yet, but I have similar rollerball pens that like work really well for inking meticulous stuff. Like I have, I'll read what it is. An Oto Fudeball 1.5 So this is a pen where it's 1.5 millimeters thick. Like, so you get really thick lines, and I use this for writing notes because this thing is like, it's like writing like on glass. It's so beautifully smooth. I don't know. But yeah, this is like kind of the process of this page. I don't really want to spend like every establishing shot doing something like photo bashing like this because it is a pain in the ass in some ways. And like some stuff you can just fucking draw it, obviously. But for setups, like I said, where I'm gonna have to like keep coming back to it over and over again, I'd rather just like if it isn't a unique building, because like this is a police station. It's a government ass building. It's very boring. To me, it's worth the extra time to just like do this because it makes it look more realistic because it is just like exactly what a government building would look like. If it has a more like fantasy element kind of building, then to me it like makes more sense for you to just like draw it without any of this nonsense. But yeah, I really like using the blue line. It's just sort of like an extra step of like sketching digitally then bringing it in. And, like, maybe for, like, poses that are, like, super duper hard for me, maybe I'll just, like, use a 3D model to, like, map it out and then do this. I don't know. Most of the time I just like, draw from the brain and then just fucking hope for the best. But, that's what I'm doing. Yeah, so I wanted to give some updates about my comic, like, where I'm posting it and stuff, because I thought I did it in the last video. I didn't, like, mention that at all. So I'm working on my own website, by the way, and I finally have the monies to pay for the website domain hosting because basically I use Wix, and it's very expensive to do like the to pay for like hosting comics because comics have a lot of image files, so it's very heavy on like how much space you're using. So you have to pay more money to like host anything that's image based. And I know a lot of people have said, why don't you use Global Comics or all these other bullshit places? I want it to look nice. I want it to be consistent. I want to own the rights to everything. And I also don't want to be kicked off of platforms that are like, oh, we're for kids, so you can't show 3/4 of an ass cheek. Because if you don't know, I tried posting Paranormal Play to Webtoon at one point, and then I was kicked off for posting 3/4 of a butt cheek. Which, okay, sure, if you want to be like that, you know, you can't show ass, I got that. But at the same time, I wish they were consistent because there are so many comics on Webtoon that are literally like about suicide, murder, huge age gap relationships. I really just wish if they intend to like have this censorship, I wish it was like, I don't know, consistent across the board. But whatever. So that's why I'm just like, I want my own website because then nobody can tell me what to do and I can do what I want. So yeah, but it costs more. So I was kind of waiting till my income tax came in so that I could just like, because if you pay for a year's worth all at once, it's cheaper. So that's what I was waiting for. And it came in finally, so now I can do it. But yeah, so soon I will launch the website. I'm also working on a lot of pages to like make sure like there's new stuff to read. So at the end of February is when I will probably launch it. A lot of you have probably read my comic because you're coming from Instagram or like my previous YouTube video. But if you haven't, Paranormal Plague. Oh my god, bro. Shut up. I'm trying to record a video, bro. Bro, quit. He's being such a little bitch right now. I'm so sorry. So Paranormal Plague. Super professional video. Oh my god. Paranormal Plague is about, basically in this world, there are people where their emotions can dictate what their physical form looks like. So if you're really distressed, you can turn to a monstrous creature called paranormals. And it's sort of about that world and the consequences of that. That's what it's about. For a while, I've really like not known how to even market this, and I'm still pretty bad about like taglines and things like that. I might have to like, you know, shop it up and figure out how to explain this comic because it doesn't fit into like a lot of genres. So it's one of those things where I'm like, how do I actually advertise this comic? I don't know. Because it's not horror necessarily. It's not action. It's not drama. It's kind of a mixture of those three. So it doesn't fit into one genre, but yeah, I would say it's mostly drama and action, and occasionally there will be some supernatural-esque moments of, it's not even like normal supernatural where it's like ghosts and shit. It's more like, just more like body horror kind of supernatural. I don't know. I don't even fucking know. But that's what the comic is about. Herschel is the main character, and he can heal people back to normal, and it's sort of like just about that. Yeah, I draw it in kind of a comic booky black and white style. Yeah. I'm sorry, my cat was yelling at me so much that I've like lost the plot on what to even talk about. Freaking damn bastard. Also, I was recording this and basically the entire bottom part of this I didn't realize was off screen. My bad. I don't always record stuff right, and then I like see it after the fact, because I like to record it up close and then I forget to adjust the camera depending on what panel I'm in. Also, I'm working on a lot of different... I've recorded, like, so many comic pages of me working on various things. So I can't wait to finally show that to you, but, I don't know when, because I don't always have time to edit videos. But, anyways, I'm just gonna cut this to, like, the next area of the video. Okay, so this is what it looks like when it's scanned in. So it's pretty close to the actual inking, because again, it's like a black and white filter where you filter out the cyan color. And when I scan stuff in, I actually use something called photo merge in Photoshop, which photo merge is kind of like this automated process where if you have multiple scans of an image, it will like kind of merge them all together into one image. And I have to do that because my pages are slightly bigger than the scanning bed size. So, yeah. I don't really mind. Some people say photo merge, like, really alters your stuff, but I don't. I literally don't notice a difference. But I guess maybe if you had, like, super duper big stuff, it could fuck it up. But for me, it works fine. But I also have, like, a really nice scanner. I didn't realize this, like, until I started putting those affiliate links, like, in my, like, video descriptions. For some reason, the Epson scan that I have is now worth like $800. What the fuck? But when I bought it like years ago. It was like worth $200. So in the past few years, I guess scanners, the prices on them have gone up. So you don't, if you want to have a scanner, you don't need the one that I listed, but I do recommend the Epson ones because they're really good. But I just leave it there because everybody always asks me what stuff I use, and it like drives me crazy when people just ask me that, and I hate typing it out a million times over. But yeah, whenever I scan stuff in, I just sort of remove the backgrounds and add the panels later because it's just easier that way, because sometimes the panels need to be shifted just a little bit, and it's just easier for me to do it this way because it just makes the most sense. And yeah, I also have been doing this thing. I used to not really care about gutters that much. I used to make almost every page a full page bleed, more or less. But now I try to at least do some gutter panels where it will like just be blank on one side. You can kind of see it on the left hand side here of where the page doesn't extend to the full border there. Honestly, it's not super noticeable for the comics that I make when you do this, but it does look nice. But it's not noticeable because when you print books that are really thick, you won't really even see that it cuts off there anyway, because the book binding will be tight. So in some ways, me going through the process of not making it a full page bleed there doesn't really matter at all, but I don't care. I did it anyway, okay? I just thought it would look cool. And yeah. I also, like, when I was doing this, I wanted the building windows to just look cleaner, so I just go with an eraser and I just straight across wherever, like, you know, you want it to be straight. I don't really care if it, like, looks perfect or looks realistic. I just want it to look like you know, look okay. And I also, whenever I scan stuff in, I also just like fix anything that I think looks like weird. But I'm pretty loose with whatever I think looks good. If it passes the like side by glance of like looking then I'm just like, okay, it's good enough. Because this is my comic and nobody pays me to do it. But yeah, that's the process, guys. It's something. See you around.